Alrighty folks, welcome back to another video where we are discussing the Predecessor meta. Today we are re-investigating a tier list of the version 1.3.2 balance update. I originally planned to take the 1.3 tier list and just kind of move some heroes around on it like we've done before on tier list updates. I'll put that full tier list on the screen here. You can see for some reason it cut Morn out of it. I don't know why it booted Morn out, but I had Morn in A tier. You can see, the broken heroes. We had Yin, Grux, Skylar. Those were clearly overperformers in the 1.3 meta. And then right at the bottom we had Rev, Wraith, and Terra. Terra was unplayably bad before. And Wraith and Rev you could still get value with, but you have to be good with them. So this is kind of where we had everybody broken down. We started off by talking about the top 5 and bottom 5 win rate heroes in Plat. Today I have again done a lot of analysis on Ometa City's heroes page, looking at pick rates and win rates across all different ranks, and wanted to bring you guys some findings and talk about what's going on in the meta. The reason I fully reset this tier list, redid the tiers, and we're going to start over from scratch, is because the meta has shifted a little bit more than I had predicted, to the point where I couldn't really justify just moving some heroes around. We wanted to completely restructure it here. So that's what we've done. Let's hop right into it and try to get this done in a somewhat timely manner. Going to spend a little bit less time talking about the heroes than I normally do, because this was just a balance update, and we're assuming 1.4 is 1 to 2 weeks away at this point. Maybe just next Tuesday. We'll have to see. We haven't got patch notes yet. So here's how I formatted the tier list. I've changed S tier to statistical top performers. These are heroes that I generally don't consider the strongest, but by the numbers, they have some of the highest win rates across all ranks, particularly focusing on Plat. That's where I spend my time, and I think that's a good representation of the average, mid to upper tier of the meta. Diamond has a lot of weird stuff going on in it, so I don't weigh Diamond too heavily, but I do still take a look at Paragon and consider what heroes are the best at the very top level. Diamond, for some reason, has a lot of outliers. If you look at Gold, Plat, and Paragon ranks, you'll see a lot of similarities, but then you look at Diamond and it just has some really weird stuff going on with it. So I don't know why that is. I don't know if that's just because it's a small player base in Diamond, or they're like right at the edge of Paragon, or what the deal is, but Diamond is really weird. So focusing mainly at Plat, all ranks, and Paragon, these are statistical top performers. You can argue with me, but you cannot argue with the numbers. If you do, they won't argue back. So that's the heroes that are going there. Again, these are not really heroes that I think are the strongest, but are the strongest by the numbers. A tier is strongest in my opinion. These are heroes that I do think are the strongest at their roles right now. The heroes that we're seeing the most, the heroes that we're seeing win a lot of games right now, and are just overall consistently good picks. B tier, we've got assets to the meta, or assets to the team. These are heroes that consistently in this meta at least provide something strong to your team, can carry games if you're good with the hero. C tier, decent, comp or skill dependent. So these are heroes that are slightly below average. They can still be good in a lot of scenarios, but it's either your team's got to have the right comp for it, or you've got to be particularly good with that hero. So that's what my C tier is going to stand out as. And then D tier, similar to S tier, is statistical underperformers. So these are heroes, again, that I maybe don't think are the weakest heroes, but by the numbers are not doing well right now. So again, across all ranks and across Plat and Paragon specifically. So let's get right into it with our top performers and our underperformers first, because I think that's what a lot of people want to see. And we'll go through it as fast as we can here, because I know these videos usually go long, and this is just a balance update, so we don't need it to go that long. So starting off with our top performers, these 3 heroes that I've got for the S tier have in the top 5 win rates in both Plat specifically and in all rank, and some of them are in the top win rates at the Paragon tier as well. Again, check out Ometa City's hero page if you want to look at these statistics for yourself. But these are the 3 that are really standing out post version 1.3.2. First off, we have got, I should have lined them up here a little earlier. We have got Sparrow. Now Sparrow, Again, this is not a hero that I would say is particularly the strongest in my opinion, but when you're in the top 5 win rates at nearly every single rank in the game, something's going on. So Sparrow, a strong hero, both at Paragon. Right now she's the 3rd highest win rate hero. Across all ranks she's 2nd, and at Plat she's also the 3rd. So this is a hero that even in Silver, in Gold, Plat, Diamond, high win rate hero. Don't know what the deal is. I don't have the best games with Sparrow usually, and I wouldn't even call her a top 3 carry in my opinion. But hey, if the numbers don't lie, they're what they are. So Sparrow, my top in my first one in the statistical top performers tier. Next up, we have got Chimera. Chimera again, one of those heroes that has a high win rate across nearly all ranks. Actually, in the all rank category, has the highest win rate of any hero. Shows how easy he is to play. You know, bronze through Paragon, you can get good value with him. Has been good for a long time. You do have to be somewhat decent with him. He doesn't offer as much to your team as a lot of other junglers, but still an awesome hero. Get good with him and you'll be good across all ranks. It's just how it is. And finally, my third one is actually going to be Shinbi. Shinbi was going to be a hero that I was going to have a hard time placing in the old format of the tier list because I think she is a lot better now. But I don't, I wouldn't consider her like the S tier broken level hero. But by the numbers, she is up there, placing 2nd in win rate at Plat and 3rd in win rate at all ranks. Just been doing really good, particularly good in solo, maybe not as good in jungle because she lacks the hard CC, but in 1v1 scenarios in solo lane, very dominant, has that threat of her ultimate, which now can basically take 1/3 of somebody's health at any given moment if they want to stay engaged in a 1v1 in melee range with you. So statistically a top performer. Like I said, you're welcome to leave me comments saying she's trash, but good luck arguing with the numbers on Ometa City. They will not argue back. So that's my top 3. We're going to put 3 in the statistical underperformers as well here. Let's go ahead and start off with the one that hurts me the most, which is Sev. Sev, although I feel like I see him doing well in the majority of games, having good solo lane matchups, performing obviously incredibly well in the late game once he gets stacked up. And I've seen him win games out of jungle for sure on this patch. Right now in Plat, 2nd to the bottom in win rate across all ranks, 5th from the bottom. Just not really a statistical performer right now. I mean, a statistical underperformer, if anything. It pains me to say it because I like Sev, but he's just not in a great spot right now by the numbers. Next up, one that I love to see down here in the statistical underperformers, it is Morgesh. Now you guys go ahead and leave your comments. Morgesh is easy to play. I dominate all my games in Morgesh. You can play her in solo. She destroys everyone. Yada yada yada. Tell me where her hard CC is. You won't find any. She is a damage-based mid laner at best, and the lowest by a huge margin win rate in Paragon tier, because at that rank people know how to play against her, people know how to play around her ult, and people know how to shut her down. I'm talking about a 30% win rate in Paragon. That is absurdly low. Still has a really low win rate across Plat. In all ranks, she does hold up a decent win rate because people in Bronze and Silver have a hard time playing against her, but Morgesh, I don't like seeing her on my team. I don't like playing against her either because it's just an annoying hero, but at the same time, very happy to see her underperforming statistically. And third, down here in the bottom, we have got Wraith. Wraith, I think you probably know why he's down here. Not a lot of people play him well. You can very much carry games with Wraith. Wraith has the kit, he has the potential to sweep games both from mid and from duo lane as your carry. But you have to be good with him, and I think not a lot of people are good enough with him to get that value. Across all ranks right now, the very bottom win rate hero. Should they buff him? Some people would say yes. I think if they buff anything, they definitely need to buff his wards or maybe other portions of his kit, because his knock-knock still hits ridiculously hard. Maybe buffing his ult or something could be helpful, but or his invisibility, but he's a very weird hero because I have seen him win games a lot, but statistically right now, very much an underperformer. Like I said, lowest win rate across all ranks, and 4th lowest win rate in Plat, which is where I play. So we've got him down here. Go ahead and light me up in the comments about what you think they should do about Wraith, because just one too many buffs and this man becomes like unplayably broken strong. So let me know what you guys think. Now we'll just go through it and fill out the list with the rest of these heroes. We're going to keep everyone else in these 3 tiers here in the middle. It does kind of limit my pick positions, but these this top and bottom ones are just purely based off of the stats. Check out Ometa City and go ahead and send them some rude emails because they track their statistics too efficiently and you don't agree with them. Now let's get into it here. Argus. Argus is one of the stronger heroes. I don't know if I want to put him in strongest in my opinion because he doesn't quite hit as hard as he used to. We'll put him in asset to the team. He can play support well. He can play mid lane pretty well. Offers consistent damage output, but I haven't been seeing him carry as many games as he used to pre 1.3.2. Aurora. I think, although she is one of the stronger heroes in my opinion, and I do consistently do well with her, we're going to put her an asset to the team. She has kind of a struggle in the upper ranks. She gets shut down a lot. If your support is playing her cleanse around an Aurora ult, that is a really tough spot for Aurora to be in. Good mobility and whatnot. Like I said, I win the majority of my jungle games playing her, but you kind of have to have a team comp that supports her or that's willing to play around her. So we'll put her an asset to the team above Argus, very much a contender for strongest in my opinion, but we're kind of reserving this for maybe the top heroes at each role right now. Countess, an asset to the team for sure, can play jungle well, can play mid lane well. If you're good with her, she's really slippery and hard to pin down. I would say in jungle, a lot of times she's going to do better than Shinbi, but in solo lane, definitely not as well as Shinbi. When you're locked into melee 1v1s, Shinbi can get out and Countess cannot. But Countess I would rather see come out of the jungle and help gank my enemy duo lane or something than a Shinbi most of the time because she has that ult to shut people down. So an asset to the team, probably another contender for strongest in my opinion, but does not quite break up there. Crunch, gotta go in A tier for me, one of the strongest heroes in my opinion. Great in solo lane, great in jungle if you're able to farm and get ahead, makes great rotations and ganks. CC chaining people to death. Usually if you hit someone with a nice CC chain, stun, knock up, true damage, they are probably going to lose half their health before they can even, flash out or make a move or whatever. So a really strong hero. You do need to try to get ahead with him because he's kind of weak before level 6. But if you're able to get that farm going and get to level 6 quick, he can bully most 1v1s in solo lane and make really good ganks out of jungle. Decker, kind of always been one of the stronger supports. The cage and the long range stun are just too valuable, comboed with the fact that she is a ranged support, which means good early pressure pre-level 6 when you and your carry are 2v2 boxing in lane. She offers good poke in that position, so really strong. With how short the cooldown is on the cage and how strong the cage itself is, really has to be in A tier for me. Drongo, I think you would find very few people who don't call him a top 5, if not a top 3 carry right now. Consistently strong. They nerfed his rad rounds in this last patch, but it didn't make that big of a difference. He's still good, still has fast clear with the boomerang, good mobility with the ult to get out of bad situations, and the tick damage is really nice for catching people off guard. So big fan of Drongo. He's been a favorite of mine for a long time. Feng Mao. Feng Mao is an iffy one because you can see Feng Maos get shut down, but more often than not you see Feng Maos go off and carry games. I think we'll probably end up putting him near the bottom of A tier. So he is very strong right now. It's just you gotta play him right near his limit. You have to be pretty good with him to get that strength out of him. But I think I've just seen too many Feng Maos carry too many games. He does have a really high win rate at Paragon right now, so obviously people at the top rank are doing really well with him. He actually has second highest pick rate as well at Paragon, so he's getting played a lot and winning a lot at the top level. We got to put him in A tier, but you do have to be good with him. Gadget. I think Gadget is definitely a strong asset to the team now. She was weaker a couple patches ago, but now in this meta where people are getting bursted down too fast and positioning is more important, she is kind of the quintessential positioning and zoning tick damage mid laner. Really strong ult for securing objectives and stuff like that. A great tank killer, which you're not finding from many mid laners, so an asset to the team. Probably going to be in the lower end of asset to the team, though. Gideon. I'm not that big a fan of Gideon. I've seen Gideon's getting shut down a lot recently. I think he's probably beyond decent or comp dependent because he is able to play so safely. So we'll probably end up placing him right around Gadget as an asset to the team. I would usually prefer to see a Gadget on my team than a Gideon, I think, right now, but it's really close. Both have similar ults, but Gideon can generally be too exposed in his ult to get as much out of it as a Gadget ult. So, but strong, still bursts people down well, builds Noxia well, and can play pretty safe in lane. Greystone. I think Greystone is pretty good. You see him getting played across all ranks and picked across all ranks. He's actually 4th highest pick rate across all ranks, but does not break into any of the top win rates categories. I think we're going to actually put Greystone in maybe comp or skill dependent. That kind of hurts me to say because I like Greystone so much, but if you're not good with Greystone or you're not playing him near his limit, he's going to offer you so much less than a similar auto attack hero that has better CC or better mobility. I'm thinking Seraph or Zarus type heroes, where with Seraph you can chase people down better and have better immunity and a nice slow. With Zarus you have a stun and a cage with his ult. Greystone doesn't really offer you those things. You have to just play him really well and be a real menace and get ahead early if you want to do good with him. So lacking a stun, we'll leave him and see. We'll see if we want to adjust him around later. Grim. I think Grim is kind of a quintessential comp or skill dependent hero right now. The fact that he does magical damage in this meta where most people are playing magical solo laners kind of puts you in a weird spot where you don't want your team to be all magical damage. Can play really well if your team's going to pick a carry in mid lane or something like that, or you're going to have a physical jungle and solo laner type thing. It might be good to get that extra magical damage on the team, because it's harder to build magical armor and get good value out of it than physical armor. But you've also kind of got to be good with Grim. He's not going to play the game for you like some of the other carries like Skylar, who gives you crazy safety. You have to be good at hitting his bubble to immune skills. You have to be good at lobbing his knockback and timing when you want to turn on and off his assault mode. So as easy as his ult is to secure you extra kills, I think we got to put him in comp or skill dependent, because you really want your comp to play around him, and you've got to be good with him to hit those bubbles to get as good a value as somebody like Drongo is going to get in most games. Grux, I think we still have to put him in A tier. He's not nearly as strong as he was, but he is still a relative overperformer, only coming in now at 5th in win rate across all ranks, still of course 2nd across all ranks in pick rate, and actually 1st in highest pick rate in plat. So still getting picked a lot, not nearly as strong as he was, not broken tier. With the nerfs to Rapture and his bleed, doesn't quite just like win you games constantly. I mean, before he was at a 60+% win rate in plat, which is just insulting to let a hero be that broken. I think now he's still in a strong position, but you'll see more people shutting down a Grux than before, so I'd like to see that. Howie, one of the stronger mid laners without a doubt. I think we probably slide him up here. I think at that same token, we probably slide Grux up here as well, above like a Decker. Yeah, I think that's probably a little bit better. Howie, just strong. Like I said, range is really beneficial right now. The safety from his ult is really beneficial in this meta where people getting CC chained and blown up all the time. You have to be good with him, and you have to learn how to use his knockback mine effectively, but if you can, this is a very strong hero without a doubt. Definitely in contention for top mid laner, at least in my opinion. I would say he's top 3 or has been top 3 for a while. Iggy, we're going to say Iggy is actually an asset to the team, probably in the upper tier of asset to the team. Provides something different than you're getting from a lot of mid laners right now with the consistent zoning pressure and objective securing abilities of an Iggy. The ult is nice for managing team fights and staying safe and knocking people back and stuff like that, but people generally know how to play against an Iggy, and I think you've got to kind of be play pretty sharp with Iggy to get incredible value out of him on the level of like Howie or Faye or something. So asset to the team, but still I would say like a top 5-ish mid laner for me. Kallari, I think Kallari is the quintessential, like Grim, skill-dependent hero. If you're good with Kallari and you get ahead early, if you're harassing the lanes and a true threat to your team, then Kallari can give you a lot. But if you're bad with Kallari, you're providing absolutely nothing to your team. Kallari's kind of a win more hero. If your team is winning lanes and you're able to show up and secure extra kills that your lanes wouldn't normally get, then I think that she does make you win more. But I don't know if a lot of times Kallari is going to turn the game around in a losing situation and make you win it. Kira, I can't, honestly, in good faith, I don't think put her in strongest in my opinion. Because it is my opinion. Not in the top 5 win rates at anywhere except for Paragon. But is getting picked quite a lot at Paragon, and still, I mean, she's 5th in pick rate and win rate in Paragon tier. I don't generally have good games with her. I have had good games with her. I think we're going to put her at top of asset to the team. For me, she's not a top 3 carry, but I know a lot of people do consider her a top 3 carry. Can provide a lot to your team and be pretty strong in a lot of situations, but the ult still does nothing. And although her passive is strong, I just don't see it. I'm not a Paragon level player, so I don't see it, but I will respect the fact that she is both in the top 5 pick rates and win rates at Paragon tier and put her at the top of B tier. Quang has gotten a lot better in this patch. I still see him struggle a lot of times in solo lane. You've got to kind of be good with Quang. We'll put him at the bottom of B tier for now and see if we want to adjust him around a little bit later, because the tether is very valuable. If you hit that tether on somebody and dash into him for the knock up, coming out of a jungle gank, they are probably as good as dead. The ult does slow down more and hit harder, and the shield is pretty strong that he gets, but I just don't know about Quang. I haven't had a lot of good games with him since the patch, but he is stronger than he was before, so we will slide him up to B tier. If you were good with Quang before, you're probably having great games with him now, because he is a little bit stronger. Belica. Belica, clear A tier pick for me, probably going right up here with Decker. One of the best supports in the game, in my opinion, consistently provides great pressure with the knock up and damage output that she can do from support. Good in mid lane too, but I think you're really better late into mid game versus early in mid game, where a lot of other mid laners like Faye and Howie are kind of strong with their poke early. Belica takes a little bit to get online. Still a strong hero though. I mean, I think, what are we looking at? We're looking at not in the top 5 on win rates anywhere for the most part right now, but in the top 5 pick rates in both Plat, all ranks, and Paragon. She's in the top 5 pick rates, probably because people are picking her both in mid and support. But just a strong support overall right now. I would say borderline top 3 support for sure. Murdoch, I think we still have to leave Murdoch in the A tier. We would put him around Drongo level, right? I think around Drongo level. Keeping in mind the carries as a whole are pretty balanced, so there's not that much to separate like Drongo Murdoch from Kira in the first place. Even from Grim in the first place, I think all carries are pretty decent right now. Murdoch still providing you with good utility. They took down his scaling and the damage numbers of both his mine and his shotgun, but like I said in the patch notes video, The damage numbers from that shotgun and from the mine are not what makes those abilities good. It's the utility that Murdoch offers. The universal range ult, if you're able to hit it and secure more kills early, will get you snowballing faster on Murdoch and make you near uncatchable if we're being honest. The shotgun knockback makes him one of the harder carries to gank in conjunction with his speed up ability. So just an easy carry to do well with and been a consistent performer for a long time. Muriel, I like Muriel a lot. I like playing Muriel, but I think we've got to put her in the decent / comp or skill dependent tier. Muriel can be good, but your comp has to kind of line up pretty well for Muriel to help them out. Because she lacks that stun for setup, she's really reliant on her carry being good in the 2v2s and just kind of pushing that carry into an upper level. Kind of like you see FaZe doing a lot. A FaZe without a good carry behind her is not going to do as much. Muriel, same way. Kind of want to put her at the top of C or maybe even bottom of B because of the universal ult and her ability to swing solo lane fights, objective fights when she shows up at them. But that's still dependent on your Muriel paying attention and making it to those fights in a timely manner. So we're going to put her in C tier because it is pretty skill dependent. You've got to be a good Muriel to get good value with her. Narbash. Narbash generally I see as kind of a underperformer right now, but if you look at the numbers in the upper ranks, Narbash has a crazy win rate. I think in Paragon he has the #1 win rate right now by a pretty big margin. People are playing him and getting good value with him, not so much in the mid to lower ranks, but in the upper ranks, very powerful hero, very well respected. We'll put him right around up here with Argus, I think. He does provide pretty unique stuff to your team. Giving your whole team speed up and your whole team healing is pretty strong. Makes use of some of the new items that supports have gotten recently with the blink, the augmented blink ability. Obviously, if you build Bracer or a True Silver Bracelet with it, you can blink into fights and ult. You can get a lot of value out of Narbash. So I think he's an asset to the team almost always, but you have to be able to hit the thunk, I think is key. Having a ranged stun, though, is a very nice asset for a melee hero, so asset to the team almost every time from Narbash. FaZe, good grief. Who likes this hero, honestly, at this point? If you like this hero, it's kind of similar to the people who like playing Grux, I think. Very cheesy hero, very hit or miss hero. If your carry's not good, it's going to be hard for you to make much happen with FaZe. It's just you have this back pocket beam that can always root someone pretty much from anywhere that you're at. You're going to be able to land the root on them if you're just halfway decent with FaZe, and that is so incredibly annoying that you can kind of win your 2v2 sometimes just off of her annoyance factor. Still, I think a comp dependent hero, obviously good against Richters and stuff like that, good in combination with someone like Sparrow who likes the attack speed. But I can't really recommend you guys playing her because I don't like seeing her in my games and I don't like seeing her on the other team either. So how you design a hero that is both annoying to have on your team and annoying to play against is a mystery to me, but FaZe fits that bill. We will put her in C tier. Leave me some comments saying that FaZe is the best support in the game and I will probably not respond to you. Next up we've got Rampage. Rampage is really strong right now. Actually, one of the higher pick rate and win rate heroes coming through Plat, actually the #1 Plat win rate hero right now, has got to earn him some clout and respect. We will move him pretty high up in here. I think he's one of the better junglers. I seem to always do well with him, and I would definitely recommend you guys giving him a try if he's not a jungler you play very often, because he just offers a lot to the team. The rock stun is one of the longer stuns in the game, and it can really shut people down. One rock is all it takes sometimes, similar to how you hear me saying one pull is all it takes for Richter. One rock is a lot of times all it's going to take for Rampage to get on you and shut you down with that combination of slows, good mobility, fast clear, safety with his ult. He's kind of a total package in jungle right now in a meta where not a lot of heroes have survivability. He has got a good survivability, so Rampage, #1 in win rate in Plat, we'll leave him up here in A tier. Rev is an iffy one. I think we're going to leave him down here in C tier because he's usually pretty slow early game. If you get rolling with a Rev into the mid and late game, if you've got some extra free gold from taking people into the Shadow Realm, if you've got Ortis stacks, assuming you're building Ortis, if you're ahead at all on Rev and hitting your autos, you can do very well with him, but you're not going to see too many people playing him and outperforming the likes of Kira, Drongo, Murdoch. Pretty infrequently are you going to see that. Doesn't really combo well with a lot of the more meta supports right now. Like, you're not going to want to see him picked with a Muriel for the most part. You'd be happy to see him with a Bellica or Decker, I think. But just a kind of hit or miss hero. Definitely comp and skill dependent on Revenant. Richter, they did make him a lot better into the late game now. I think he still is a very strong hero, but you have to play him well. We'll put him near the bottom of A tier. I think even if you don't play him exceptionally well, one pull is all it takes. If you miss 10 pulls in a row and you hit that 11th pull on the enemy duo lane or in a team fight late game, it could potentially decide the game, and that is kind of too strong of a ability to ignore, especially when comboed with the fact that you're going to pull them, silence them, and ult them, and just shut them down for like 5 seconds. Richter is really strong, can play solo lane and jungle a little bit more effectively since the buffs. Probably gonna stay near the bottom of A tier for me in this list. Seraph. Now, Seraph's a weird one for me because generally I view Seraph as pretty strong, but actually has the worst win rate right now in Plat. And that is kind of odd because she does not have that bad of a win rate across all ranks or in Paragon tier. So why she has such a bad win rate in Plat is a mystery to me. She can still carry games. I think she's at least on par with the Aurora level of heroes. A lot of times just is a better Greystone right now. Wins a lot of solo lane matchups, destroys tanks, really good tank killer, really good multi-killer. Seraph, just a strong hero. Even with the nerfs to health items in general, she can still do well without the brokenness of Rapture. Yeah, I think she's got to stay near the top of B tier for me. Skylar, clear A tier candidate for me. Last time we had her in the S broken tier. I think we're going to have her again up here as one of the strongest heroes in the game. Very capable in mid lane, very capable in duo, of course, as your carry. Overcaps attack speed well with the beam damage scaling with attack speed. Really good safety, good universal range ult if you're able to hit it. The grenade and the ult did get a smaller hit radius than they had before, but the beam still does the most damage and the most tank killing potential of pretty much any carry in the game, so got to keep her up here in A tier. A Skylar that's ahead, whether it's in mid or duo, is a massive threat. So, one of the strongest, if not this #1 carry in the game right now. Steel, I think Steel is pretty good. I think we'll probably have him in the upper B tier, I feel like, right around here with Seraph and Aurora. Maybe a little bit higher because he is getting picked so often. Steel, he can just be a menace to play against, both at the support role and in solo lane. You even see some people taking him in jungle and doing well. Just a super easy kit to get good value with. Just mash all your buttons and stay in melee range of somebody on the enemy team, and you're going to at least proc CC and turn on Dynamo for them once or twice, and that is kind of too hard to ignore. The CC chains that he provides and the shield that he gets from his passive makes him pretty tough to 1v1 with a lot of solo laners. So just because of how easy he is to use, he's got to be in the upper B tier for me, always an asset to the team. Now Terra. Last patch, version 1.3, Terra was the worst hero in the game, I think, without question. Had the lowest win rate, a much lower win rate than even Wraith. Just was complete garbage, which makes sense because they nerfed her about 8 times in a row since her release. Now she is a good bit better. I think she is back, as you would say. I think Terra is back. Good damage, good shield, good CC. Do we want her at the bottom of B tier? I think she can perform better than Quang actually a lot of the time. I don't know how back she really is right now. I've had a lot of good games with her and a couple bad ones. I think we'll put her up here, actually, probably above Narbash. Above Argus? No, probably not above Argus, Count Iggy. Yeah, I think right around there. She is a very good hero right now. I think she is moving into the category where she can kind of turn your games around and carry out of the jungle or solo lane if you're building her bruiser, because she is pretty hard to take down with that CC immunity and stuff. You got to be kind of decent with her and time everything with her, but she's definitely back. Terra is back. No more the worst hero in the game for her. Faye. I think it would be disrespectful to Faye to put her anywhere other than A tier. Maybe I'm still partial to Faye over Howie, but I think we'll leave her right here ranked below Howie because she did get those nerfs and isn't quite as oppressive as she was before. Still very strong in mid lane. If you're able to hit your pokes back to back a few times in a row, you will poke out just about any mid laner in the game. And once you get that early pressure going, late game you have one-shot potential with dropping her full kit on somebody and proccing like Combustion, Noxia, Tainted Scepter all at the same time on people. It will probably delete them. Definitely a top 3 mid laner in the game, no doubt, but maybe not quite as oppressive as she was pre this patch. Next up, we've got Twin. I think Twin, we probably have to just slide down an asset to the team. It would be disrespectful to the stats of Kira's performance to put Twin on the level of Kira, so probably lower down here, probably behind Gadget and Gideon, I think. Twin can be good, he can be fun to play and easy to play, but that doesn't mean he really has an advantage from his passive and stuff like Kira has for pure damage output. I think one of the lower pure damage output carries in the game, but really good tech options with him, with how fast your proccing abilities, builds that new Solaris, that buffed Solaris item quite well, probably the best of any carry. I put out a lot of gameplay of him a couple days ago, playing on the new patch. It's kind of hard to say he's better than Grim, honestly. He's kind of the lowest damage output carry usually, but still easy to play and easy to get good value with, so we'll call him an asset to the team. Just keep in mind he's not going to hit as hard as most carries right now. Next up, we've got Yin. Yin definitely suffered from the nerfs. I think it would still not be fair to take her out of A tier because it offers some very unique stuff to the team with that ult shutting down team fights, with the ability to deflect enemy incoming projectiles like Rampage rocks and stuff. I think she's probably right around here with Grux and Rampage, right? A very strong hero once you get going, but you've got to get her going in the first place. And if you shut the enemy team Yin down, she is going to struggle more than she was before, with her receiving general tune downs across her damage output and stuff. But I still like her in A tier. Zarus, big boy Zarus. Zarus kind of been struggling from a statistical standpoint. In the version 1.3, he was one of the lower win rate heroes. I think his spear buff helps him a little bit. I don't know if I want to call him one of the strongest in the game, because you've got Crunch and Grux to compete with him, and I don't know if he often performs as well as them. So maybe we'll put him right around where Quang is still. I think kind of fulfilling a very similar role in the majority of games, a Zarus and a Quang. So we'll put him around here, slightly above Quang for me. It seems more consistent and stronger when he's rolling, because he's going to have those stacks from his ult and potentially from Ortis as well. And if your other team has a Zarus on it who's got a couple kills under his ult and a couple Ortis stacks going, he's probably going to be uncatchable. Man's probably going to be sweeping you, so we'll put him up here. I actually kind of want to slide him up a little bit, probably to more around where Terra is. Yeah, I think we probably want him around more where Terra is. Terra seems more consistent. Terra and Zarus both seem more consistent than Quang right now. Zinx, second to last in our placement. I think Zinx is clearly an A tier support. The damage output she provides and the revive is really key right now. You can revive a carry to get more damage back into the fight, or you can revive a tank like Rampage and just provide a huge amount of health back into the team fight. So really strong. You can build her attack speed and kind of carry out of the support role if you need to. If your carry itself is underperforming, you can just become the carry yourself, which is cool. Good slowdown, good chain stun to shut down team fights. I think a really strong hero, pretty easy to get value with as well. And last but not least, Morn. People have settled in on Morn and figured out how to play against him better. I think he is still one of the stronger supports because of that teamfight Mez shutdown. I think actually we're going to move Rick and Morn above Feng Mao, because Feng Mao can sometimes struggle if you get him behind, but Rick and Morn should still be able to provide a lot to the team. Both have a pull. The key thing with Morn is the Mez. The Mez is what makes him strong, and it is what got nerfed in this last patch, but it still feels pretty strong, able to CC chain people like that, shut down objective fights, and shut down 2v2s, and help your carry out quite a lot in 2v2s. So that's what we've got here for the tier list. Let's see if there's anyone we want to move around. I think S tier, I think we're going to put Kai and Shinbi higher than Sparrow, because although Sparrow is really high in win rate, I don't think she deserves to be, placed stronger than Drongo, Murdoch, Skylar. But hey, I'm not going to argue with the numbers. You're welcome to try. A tier, I think looks pretty good here. Got the supports here all next to each other. Drongo, Murdoch right behind them, because I think carries as a whole are pretty balanced outside of Skylar, who is still very strong. Yin, maybe we'll actually slide her down below Rampage. Actually, maybe down here, because she's not quite as consistent as Grux and Rampage. And Feng Mao at the bottom, because he does have a really high pick rate and win rate in Paragon, but you have to be able to play him very well. Kira, same thing, easily could slide right here to the bottom of A, but we'll leave her at the top of B. Same thing with Feng Mao, he could slide to right there, but those are kind of a natural break point in the Kira and Feng Maos. If you play them well, you can carry even into the top ranks, but at the lower ranks, a little bit less consistent. Steel, I think we slide Steel down here behind Aurora. I think Aurora is just too good all around. Seraph's still very strong. Iggy, Count, Argus, very strong mid laners, but you've got to be kind of decent with them. Terra, Zarus, I think Zarus has more potential if he's really rolling to be unstoppable. Terra could still be shut down, but the CC immunity is quite nice, pretty much on par with each other here. Narbash, got to be up here because of his ridiculous high win rate in Paragon tier, but often not a top performer at the support role. Gadget, Gideon, both decent. Twin, lower damage than the majority of carries. We'll actually slide him to the bottom of B tier. I think Quang is probably a little bit better majority of the time. And then, yeah, that looks kind of good. C tier, decent, comp dependent or skill dependent. Greystone for sure, Rev for sure. I like them being higher up as well. I think I like Grim being above Muriel even. I think Kalari kind of bottom of C tier-ish. Kind of just too much of a win more hero and not a really like win the game by herself type hero. And then statistical underperformers. Sev definitely has to be at the top for me because he is too good. Rafe has more potential to carry, but you're going to see Morgeshes do well more often. So that's kind of a toss-up here. Again, I probably wouldn't have, at least not Sev or Morgesh in the bottom tier if it was up to me, but the statistics have them in a really bad place right now, so that's where they've got to stay. And then Rafe kind of in an odd spot because he is so strong in the right hands, but not a lot of people have the right hands for him. So that's going to do it for this tier list, guys. Thanks for stopping by and checking it out. This is what we are saying. I think this is as good as we can really get it for version 1.3.2. 1.4 should just be a couple weeks away, but let me know where you would move these heroes around or what you've been seeing. The meta is largely dependent on what the community thinks as a whole, not necessarily just the statistics, which is why I have got to put the caveat that these top 3 and bottom 3 are just heroes that Ometa City statistics are showing being top performers or underperformers right now, and are not necessarily the worst or the best heroes in the game. It's just how it is. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks for stopping by. Come check us out on the streams if you want to talk about the meta, if you want to queue some games with us. Come in and queue some Wraith games with us. I'm looking at you, Gon. I'm looking at you, pushing Rice. Come in and queue some Wraith games with us and absolutely pop off. Drop 20 plus kills every game. And unfortunately, it will not make me move Wraith up in the tier list because he has such a low win percentage. But come out there and show me that these bottom heroes are good, because I know they are. You don't have to convince me. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. What's your favorite hero right now in the patch? And are you a fan of the general version 1.3.2 patch? Balance changes. I think this is probably the most balanced the meta has ever been overall. All the heroes are kind of pretty tightly grouped right now in pick rate and win rate. So I like to see that. I'm happy with the direction they're going, and I'm looking forward to version 1.4. Come out to the streams and check us out and hang out with us. We will see y'all in the next one. Thanks for watching.